With her can-do attitude, love of simple gardens and decades of experience, Charlie Dimmock is one of Britain's best-loved gardeners.
Fire pit there, water feature bubbling away there.
But the Rich brothers are the new trendsetters. Winners of multiple medals at the Chelsea Flower Show.
Valiant job.
The boys have become known for their dramatic outdoor spaces. Now, these two different generations of gardening are going head-to-head.
They may have a few gold medals, but I've got one or two tricks up my sleeve.
They're meeting frustrated garden owners across the country.
It looks like a driveway.
I wasn't going to say that.
And will each pitch them a design based on their needs
Wow.
and budget.
Let's hope they choose us.
The winner
Yeah.
brings their design to life, and the loser
Come on, we're in.
has to help them build it.
I get all the best jobs me, don't I?
This is what happens
Who designed this garden? Stupid person.
when different styles collide
Oh, dear, you geeks.
to turn garden dreams into reality.
It's like walking down some stately home. It's beautiful.
Charlie and the Rich brothers are on their way to find out about today's garden challenge.
This is someone who was originally from your neck of the woods, Morgan, but he's relocated to my neck of the woods, Southampton. And this is his garden. He's spent a lot of time on the house and he now wants to get the garden looking cool and a big entertainment space.
Lovely.
It's all like all Welshmen. Lots of entertainment.
Morgan used to work on the passenger ships that set sail from the cruise terminal at Southampton.
I worked on cruise ships for 10 years. I left sea to come over shore 6 years ago, and I've been living in Southampton for the last 6 years.
Since becoming a shore-based operations manager, Morgan's been doing up the inside of his house. But when it came to the outside, he ground to a halt.
I don't really know what to do with the garden. I know what I want out of it, but it's not my forte, so I thought, why not call in the experts? It's a bit of a mess, and it doesn't really work for me, so I'd really like it to be an extra room, an entertaining space to socialise with friends. The house was built 100 years ago, and I'd really like to bring through some of that Edwardian period into the garden, but with a bit of a modern twist.
I mean, I think he's sort of open to ideas, but he definitely wants that sort of cool, chic, modern, but with a sort of cottagey twist to it.
Lovely. Well,
You say modern and chic.
Yes.
That is not what those paving slabs are.
No.
But a traditional garden with a slick, modern twist is just one of the challenges facing the designers.
It's really overlooked, so I need to get some privacy in here.
The other problem is this wall here is quite low, and there is a row of houses that look right into his garden, so that is a big key thing as well as entertainment.
I'm already excited, to be honest. Any inspiration from Wales itself?
I was born in Wales. I lived in Wales all of my life up until this move, and the family are all still there. I miss the scenery, I miss the area. I was really close to the outdoors. I don't get as much of that here, and I'd like to invite nature and the countryside back into my garden.
So what's the budget?
Well, the budget, £5,000.
Ooh, fantastic. Because it really doesn't look that big, does
It's
it?
not big.
I got that money from my bonus this year. Normally I'd spend it on travelling and socialising with friends, but I wouldn't necessarily have something to show for at the end of it. And that's why I'd like to be able to get friends round and socialise here instead of having to go out all the time.
So make sure it's a bit more private, big entertainment space, cottagey, calm wildlife, maybe a bit Wales, maybe not. Do you think it's that one?
With that £5,000 budget firmly in mind, the designers head to the south coast to see for themselves what they can do to rescue Morgan's garden.
And I like the tiles.
Yeah, I know. It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah, wow.
And that brick wall as well.
Ooh.
All sturdy bricks.
Yeah.
Yeah, more like breeze blocks, aren't
They're
they?
big, aren't they?
Yeah, this is a nice size, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not as small as the picture sort of said.
No, and there's that. Is that bay tree?
Bay tree. I can see
Lovely.
what he means about being overlooked.
Yeah,
more like
Come out your
breeze blocks,
patio
aren't they?
doors. Oh, morning, everybody.
Well, otherwise, It is pretty boring. It is what it is, isn't
Yeah.
it? Just weeds and lawn. We've got a bit of a patio.
Yeah, it's very retro 70s, I would suggest. Yeah, but the house is actually on the outside quite traditional, isn't it?
Should we go have a proper snoop in the house?
Oh, look at this. It's lovely, isn't it? It's got a nice kind of tranquil feeling.
Hello, Morgan.
Morning, Charlie.
So, what do you want from the garden?
So, I suppose from a practical perspective, I'd really like a big entertaining space. So, get friends over, drinks, food in the garden, that sort of thing in the summer. And the other thing is obviously some privacy.
Yeah,
I'm quite overlooked.
I love the way that you've sort of kept the history of the house, the way you've restored the outside.
Yeah, and I'd love to keep some of that theme in the garden, but with a modern twist.
And it's got a lovely traditional kind of character to it as well. I mean, you've got the traditional fireplace there, but I feel like he's got a little pinch of modern.
He's definitely put his own spin on it, isn't it? And that's quite nice to do, maybe with the garden. You link back to the heritage of the property, but throwing in some nice modern lines.
And on the topic of theme, so I'm originally from Wales. I still miss it. So any way to sort of weave Wales into the garden would be great.
Oh, look at that. The national anthem. Fantastic, there we are.
That'll do.
There we are. So I think definitely having some nice little elements of Wales in there with the characteristic, but not overpowering the space, I feel. Nice pops of colour, but yeah, definitely ocean tones, I'd say.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
The blues, got the whites, got the blue candles
Yeah.
even. Softness, isn't it? I like it.
I spent 10 years travelling the world on a cruise ship, so I love the sound of water. My grandparents lived by the beach when I grew up, and I used to spend most weekends there, so water is really calming for me.
We're basically saying then, privacy, definitely got to sort that out. Big entertainment space.
Absolutely.
Sound of water, a Welsh theme.
Yep,
And a modern Victorian twist.
that would be great.
I know
Yeah.
the boys are very excited about this. You know, them being Welsh, they think they've got it in the bag.
Ah, we'll see.
After putting time and effort into getting his Southampton house in order, Morgan thinks his garden is letting the side down. And he wants a private space he can be proud of. So, Charlie and the Rich brothers will flex their creative muscles and each come up with a design that addresses all of Morgan's needs. The cost of materials and plants will be covered by the £5,000 budget, but Charlie, the Rich brothers and their team of landscapers will provide all the labour. Morgan will then choose the garden he prefers, and the losing designer will help the winner create it. Back in Southampton, it's time to pitch the designs.
Right, Morgan. So you are after a garden that kept some of the traditional feel with a modern twist that was no longer overlooked.
Yep.
Hopefully, that's what I've given you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
All right.
So this is our design.
And the brothers kick off with a patriotic call to arms.
Wow.
So in the garden, we're going to have some lovely Welsh slate paving. It's going to have a lovely natural texture and a nice deep dark colour. And then we're going to have some hardwood decking. And then that's obviously a lovely natural raw material as well. And then also to represent the industrial heritage of South Wales, we wanted to put some steel into the garden, but it's actually weathered steel through the form of a raised planter and a water feature.
With a very strong opening, the Rich brothers have included a nod to Morgan's Welsh origins in their choice of materials. How can Charlie match that?
This is your patio doors, leading out onto a patio for morning coffee, and then this is like a compacted gravel with planting through it, and these are concrete lintels to give quite a modern feel to it, leading to this big sandstone entertainment area. And then I've got these key plants that lead you down to a much more of a meadow woodland feel that's very secluded and calm.
Charlie's design neatly combines traditional and contemporary styles with concrete paving and meadow planting. And she's remembered that privacy is a key demand, with her quiet woodland area at the bottom of the garden.
To kind of hold this together, and create these slight kind of bookmarks just to make it feel quite private and a bit more intimate. We've got a little bit of low hedging. But what this does ultimately is it just sits you within the garden, you're slightly away from the house, and it'll just be a lovely first place to sit.
So if you're entertaining, you've got friends around, then you've obviously got this big space at the front.
The brothers have also created a private space, nearer the house this time, using evergreen hedging to screen the slate seating area. But Morgan asked for water to evoke happy memories.
The main feature of the garden is this canal of water. So when you're in the kitchen, you'll look up this very modern body of water that will act as a reflective pool. And at the end, the feature is a water blade. So you get this lovely, soft, gentle noise, and it's surrounded with Welsh slate.
And then opposite the seating area, we've got this lovely water feature as well. So it's lovely to have that element in the garden, and it's a nice, substantial size.
Both designs have answered the need for a chilled-out space and some water. But how are they planning to green up the garden?
In the back, you know, obviously me and Dave grew up in Wales and woodlands are everywhere, so we wanted to create an atmosphere that felt very natural. So we decided to put decking in the back and then surround this by some shrubs and trees and plants. Again, it's a very different atmosphere to the front area. If you want to retire to the back, a little bit more of a natural space, more secluded, so it really does define these two different atmospheres in the garden.
So I've made a mini woodland down here, but I thought it'd be nice to put a rowan tree there. It's very Welsh, and it'd be great for the birds. And then we've got more formal lawn with a meadow feel round here with lots of ferns mixed in on this side because it'll be shadier, and more meadow plants there. And then 3 big rocks just in, think of the Welsh hills. So you can go and sit there. There's something lovely about going into a garden, taking your shoes off and going and sitting on the grass or sitting on a rock, bare feet.
Wales-inspired woodland planting is a feature of both designs, in each case providing tranquility and calm away from the house. But no matter where Morgan sits in the garden or what he has on his feet, there's that question of seclusion.
Another key issue we want to address was actually the privacy. So we wanted to create this just simple trellis that sits above the brick wall, because the brick wall's got a lovely character and it has a lovely link to the house, so we didn't want to lose that. But by positioning this trellis above it means that you can have this lovely bit of privacy, so when you're sitting in the garden, you can't see what, you know, everyone else is up to.
Yeah.
And then I have screened the top of the wall between here and here with a slatted sort of batten timber, so quite a modern feel, and then grow lots of climbers.
Nice.
Morgan's garden is overlooked on all sides, and both designs have suggested ways to deal with that issue. The pitches are over.
So I'll leave you thinking.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you in a bit.
With some striking similarities between the designs, Morgan has a tough choice ahead.
There's elements about both that I really love, which makes this really, really difficult to make a decision.
So I bet you boys have gone full-on Welsh.
So you didn't, did we?
No.
We kept ourselves subdued and then threw in some Welsh elements.
So if I start with Charlie's, I absolutely love that water feature. The fact that it's running water and there'll be the noise of the water. And I really like the meadow as well. I love some of the plants that she's chosen and some of the vibrancy of the colour that she's getting into the garden there.
I used some Welsh slate around my water feature.
Nice.
So, and then I used basically with planting, so like rowan tree, which I thought would be great for the birds, and some birches. And then I've got some big rocks at this end of the garden with like a mini woodland round it.
Oh, so you've got a woodland area at the back as well?
Yeah.
If there's anything I was going to say about Charlie's, it's having to step outside and then go to the patio and some of the colours of the flooring. So I'm not totally certain it'll work for me, but I do love the water and I absolutely love the meadow. And then I look at the Rich Brothers.
We went for Welsh slate paving, so that'd be really nice. Hardwood timber, because we thought like loads of woodlands, growing up in nature, things like that, a nice natural connection. And then we went for some weathered steel to represent the steel industry in South Wales.
Oh, so you made your raised beds out of that. Oh, very nice.
I love the two different zones, so I can really see that working as a socialising space. And in both of them. They've obviously both worked in the box hedging to take through the period of the house.
Look, our gardens sound very similar.
I know, scary.
I got the traditional formality with box hedging.
Yeah.
What are you laughing about? It's not
Well,
that
I'm
silly.
laughing because this is a great idea, but it's exactly what we did.
Oh, OK.
And they've both achieved privacy that I'm looking for.
Privacy? What have you done there?
Because I've got, like, that modern, like, horizontal trellising.
We've
What's happened
literally
here,
have
guys?
exactly the same.
Oh.
We spend too much time with each other, I think. That's the
Maybe.
problem.
Well, actually, being Welsh, I feel like, you know, if they are that similar, he's obviously going to go with the Welsh.
It's got to give us the edge, hasn't it?
It's a really difficult decision. I'm not sure. It's going to come down to some really simple stuff. Because they're both really good and I really like them.
But which one has the edge? Will Morgan opt for the Rich Brothers design, with its woodland planting and combination of materials that celebrate Welsh heritage? Or will Charlie's colourful planting, tranquil lawned area and vibrant water feature win the day? It's time to find out.
Hello.
Hello. I've always thought to myself in the past, it can't be this difficult to make a decision, but it actually really was. And the fact that there were so many similar elements through both designs and that you both nailed the brief completely didn't make it any easier. But I have made a decision, and my decision is Harry and David.
Yeah, woo.
Well done.
I saw it was a daffodil, wasn't
The
it?
daffodil
It was.
did it.
So what was it about our design that swayed you to choose it?
So I really loved the two different areas that you'd built into it. So Charlie, I loved the fact that you had moving water in yours and I loved the meadow, but I just felt from what I'm going to use the garden for, this one worked better for me as an individual.
Perfect. Brilliant. Yeah, it was definitely going to make a massive difference.
In the end, the brothers' Wales-inspired party garden won out over Charlie's dominant water feature.
And you can all stay for the garden party when it's done.
Nice. Nice, thank you.
Harry and David are delighted to have won the pitch, and even happier that Charlie is on hand to help bring the garden to fruition.
Got here then.
It's the morning of the build. Landscapers Gruff, Kyle, Joe, and Rosie the plantswoman are ready to be briefed by project manager Andy.
Rich Brothers have done this design for Morgan. Morgan's from Wales, you might have guessed by his name. So we're bringing in a slate for the patio. Then at the back, we've got hardwood decking here and there's some really nice full planting. I would like to get the paving down first and then decking afterwards.
Yeah.
But this is higher at this end, so we've got to dig down to get the decking at the right level. Good to go?
Lovely.
All right,
Let's do
let's
it.
get on.
The design requires Morgan's garden to be stripped right back to basics, but almost immediately, Andy hits a snag.
Oh, don't know what we're dealing with it. Well, obviously someone's putting an edge in, but I don't know, they've cast it in situ or something. I don't know, it's so deep, you can't, it's really hard. Oh, well done, boy. It's a monster, isn't it? Look how deep it was. Jeez Louise, I mean, that is overkill.
For 3 inches to get the ground.
Gruff's digging along a string line to form the shape of the decking area, while Rosie's seeing whether she can rescue any of Morgan's plants.
This is a classic case of a man that hasn't got enough time to water his plants. Such a shame. Looks like a little creature's been along here.
Very straight,
Gruff.
organised. Yeah, me. A little gruff.
Andy has his work cut out, as the garden gives up more and more rubble. And Joe gets busy with the turf cutter. The brothers' design for Morgan's garden includes a large patio area, combining paving and hardwood decking. They're making use of the existing brick patio as a solid base. So Kyle wastes no time in getting the cement on top and laying the large slabs of stylish slate.
The slipper fits.
Having cleared the back of the garden, Andy and Gruff place a timber frame in the spot where the brothers want to build the decking. After ensuring it's level, they screw in some noggins. They can then attach the hardwood planking to this base. But by digging down to create a flat area, it seems they've uncovered a little bit of local history.
So much rubble in this garden and like around here, and I reckon that it's, what do you reckon, Gruff? The wall, I reckon, that goes up through there and round here.
Definitely a building of some sort has been here.
And it goes down, there's some voids underneath, not all of it, but bits and bobs. My feeling is that that's an old bomb shelter, innit, you reckon? Went in the ground a bit and then out.
Yeah, it would have been a
certain amount.
And but there's been steps going down to it probably, so it's partially buried.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got to be something like that. I mean, it's definitely an intentional structure.
They weren't really meant to be, they weren't meant to be blown up, let alone dug out, were they?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
We're having so much trouble, mate, I think. Boy, it's so much fun digging.
Yeah.
The designers have arrived to put their stamp on things.
Well, I am very, very, very excited about today. This garden is not only about capturing Welsh materials and the core and the heart of a Welsh garden.
Because, of course, Morgan...
He's a true Welshman.
He's a true Welshman like you two boyos.
Yes, it's Welsh, but it's all about entertainment.
Yeah, Morgan likes entertaining, but I have a feeling it's not really like a lad's garden, is it? It's more upmarket, suave, lovely materials. So what am I doing? Come on.
Everything entertainment.
What do you mean everything? That sounds like the whole garden.
And we're going to be on some slate. It's got a good budget, so we're going to have some gorgeous materials in there. So it's decking, another big...
I'll watch over you, so make sure you Welsh boys know what you're doing.
It's a good idea, Charlie.
Oh, look at this, isn't it looking good?
Yes, the bones of the design.
Now we've split the garden up into two very distinctive spaces. Now this first one here is the party patio, the main entertainment space. So we've of course used slate as our first nod back to Wales. It's really the idea that you can straight out the house, you've got this large space where you can entertain, you can have some drinks, you can also cook up some food if you'd like.
And then we move on to the countryside. So that's our second nod to Wales. This area is going to be a lot more rustic, a lot more natural. So therefore we've used wood, hardwood, and that creates a lovely warmth and a coziness to that space. It's going to have loads of planting around it, some trees, and it's just somewhere that Morgan can go and relax and just, you know, maybe just take a little bit of time away from the party zone.
The brothers are planning to use custom-made weathered steel tanks, one for a water feature and another as a raised planter. But they're hefty old objects, and everyone's lending a hand to carry them in.
So the framework for the deck is just going in at the moment. So all we're doing, we're putting in one of these raised planters, we're going to have the veggies in, just so we can actually start filling it with soil.
And the guys are getting on with the frame, so as soon as that's done, we're going to be cracking on with filtering in those deck boards. Oh, just in time, Andy. Take a bit of weight off him, innit? Take a bit of weight off our shoulders. Lovely.
Fantastic.
Now, these raised planters were £370 each. It's quite a lot of money, but they really do become a gorgeous feature within this garden. And hopefully, to Morgan, it has that lovely affiliation with the Welsh steel industry, but also maybe to his time spent on boats.
But the one thing that's one of the finest details in the garden. Actually, our first job is actually joining the decking and the slabbing together.
While the brothers concentrate on getting the seating area sorted, Charlie's got some ideas about how to repurpose an unused area.
Now, this little corner over here, I'm thinking maybe of making some shelves to go on the wall. It's always useful when you're in the garden to, you know, if you've got a glass of wine or a beer to put them down. Maybe a bench seat here or a table or something that will do both because, you know, I know Morgan loves his cooking and entertaining and he'll be in the kitchen maybe cooking. His mates could be out in the garden, sat down, doors open, chatting. So it could be a bench, could be somewhere to put one of those little barbecues on top.
So, at the front of the house, Charlie engages in a spot of upcycling.
So although this is a really big budget garden, I'm still ending up breaking down a pallet to use. But it is a posh pallet, so it is something to think about. I mean, these pallets you know, come in from abroad. Worth looking at them because, like this one, it's lovely wood, very useful, hardwood, rather than some of the other pallets, which is softwood. So that'll really tie in well with the decking they've got. Come on. So it's going to support my shelves, hopefully. They're always a bit awkward to break them down, but the bits I want, that bit there, that bit there, that bit there, that bit there. And I've got the cutest little hammer in the world. How cute's that? Inky dinky.
A central feature of the brothers' plan for Morgan's garden was the way the slate patio intersected with the hardwood decking.
That creates that really seamless transition.
So Harry and David are working out how it will fit together.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's now just there. Oh yeah, that's nice. Oh, look at that, it lines up with the slab. Final arrangement in. And we just wanted to do it like asymmetrically. We didn't want it to look too forced. So almost they're a bit more random. We've got one long one. This side here is a lot more dramatic than that side. It's the idea that it looks nice and informal and random. So it fits in with the rest of the kind of naturalness of the garden. But when it's cut really clean, it's going to look very sharp, very modern.
There's a healthy budget for this garden, but the brothers want to make sure they give Morgan value for money.
So we've picked Blau hardwood, and that's like an entry-level hardwood, compared to oak, which is a lot more expensive, and softwood, which wouldn't have the longevity. So this is the perfect choice. It's very hard-wearing, and it's got a lovely colour tone that matches in with the slate.
And it's exactly the same with the patio. Again, we're using a really good quality slate. But unfortunately, we couldn't actually use Welsh slate. We've had to use Brazilian, and that's just because of the cost. So for about 15 square metres of Brazilian slate, it's cost us £500. Now, if we were to use Welsh slate, it would have cost us £1,500. But it is a cost-effective way of getting a really good and effective look within your garden. And married up with the timber, these two materials look amazing. And I think it's going to look a lovely finish on the garden.
The brothers are happy with the arrangement of the decking planks. So now David needs to mark the slate for the next and trickiest stage.
The pencil has been marked out, so Harry knows where to cut. So he's removed the timber, and then the most precise job of the whole day is on your shoulders. Right, I'll get out of the way.
Harry needs a very steady hand. Any mistakes mean the slate will have to be replaced. And it doesn't help that his audience is less than appreciative.
It's not gorillas in the mist then, it's Welsh boys in the mist. Oh no, Welsh boys in the dust.
Yes. Leaving English people in the dust.
Oh! Right, that's it. Down in tools.
England won, Wales won. But back to more serious business.
I've got to say, I actually strangely enjoyed doing that. It was probably the most precise thing I feel I've ever had to do. The pressure was quite high, but I think I'm very happy. So now, another satisfying job is just tapping them out.
Another task that requires Harry's delicate touch. Woo-hoo! A good job well done, and no wasted slate. Something Charlie is pleased to hear.
So there's 1 or 2 slabs left over. And I know slabs normally go on the ground, but I thought rather than waste them, let's make a couple of shelves out of them. I mean, you put granite on tops of kitchen units, so why not slate on the wall as a shelf? Lovely, match the paving. Great place to put some bowls with lemons in, or the bottles or glasses, or even a little plant. Maybe some mint in a pot for the Pims. That type of thing.
The Rich Brothers design addresses the fact that Morgan's garden is overlooked by raising the height of the existing boundary wall. So, over on the far side,
Let's get on.
Andy's installing some upright posts so that he and Joe can attach fence panels along its length.
Just hang on to that side, Joe.
As you can see behind me, it's the first stages of the fencing going up. We've picked up these gorgeous Venetian slatted panels. They have a 25-year guarantee, so it's really long-lasting. The quality of wood with the quality of brick looks great, and that really does match the quality of timber decking and the slates that we've got on the ground.
This is going to give instant privacy, but it's going to cast a lovely shadow onto the slate, but also onto the planting. So a bit of filtered light and lots of privacy.
Hey, can you fit yours in at all into the gap? Oh, there we go.
The team is recycling the soil excavated from where the patio and decking are going.
3, 2, 1. Lovely.
And using it to fill the steel planter that frames the seating area. Charlie's making a table for her entertainment corner,
Got a framework there, really nice.
while the next phase of the patio gets underway.
Most precision decking I've seen in a long time. I hope Morgan appreciates it.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah, if he goes, oh, it would have been much nicer if it was just a straight line because I like it all blocky. You laughed with a grimace there, sir. Right then, let's get these slabs out. I quite like that.
Those leftover slabs are coming in very handy.
It looks great.
Carl thinks so anyway.
Okay, that's fantastic, Kyle.
A good squirt of glue and a pair of clamps will hold the slate in place, so that Kyle can then screw them onto the frame.
So we've eventually got round to finishing what was meant to be a little simple task and has turned into a mammoth task, so I hope Morgan likes it. So it's the last bit of slate going on. Fingers. Sit on that. Have a warm bottom all day long.
The last two leftover slates form the shelves of the entertainment corner. And a quick polish gives the edges a smart finish. Harry and David wanted to evoke Welsh woodlands with their design.
You go forward and then come back through.
Okay.
And this Amelanchier is an ideal tree for a small garden. But it's a bit of a beast.
Around. I can turn, hold on.
And getting it in is no easy task.
Just all the tree.
Come on. Okay.
All right, we're... Ooh!
How exciting. Been looking forward to this all day.
The beast is finally in its hole.
Gorgeous. There we are. So that's the multi-stem Amelanchier in place. It's a really gorgeous specimen, lovely multi-stem. It's doing quite a lot of things in this garden. So it's helping to divide and break up the two spaces. It's giving a lovely natural character. It's also going to offer a little bit of privacy, especially to this back area from his neighbours looking onto the garden from there. That is a really gorgeous tree, isn't it?
I think it's one of the nicest trees for creating interest within all seasons, really. In spring, you have a lovely blossom, a lovely white flower, and then you've got, obviously, a lovely bit of green foliage. In the autumn, it's got a lovely orange and red kind of blaze of autumn colour. So, all in all, it really does pack a punch, and it's going to attract loads of wildlife, loads of birds. It's a perfect tree, really.
While Harry firms the Amelanchier into its new home, David's concentrating on another tree that works well in a city garden.
Gorgeous, aren't they, Rosie?
I'm loving them. Look at the berries. They're beautiful.
They're actually matching your outfit.
Yep, Rowan Rosie.
Exactly. And gorgeous colour berries, aren't they fantastic?
And you can make jelly with them.
Right. I'll
Let's do
take
it.
2, you take 1.
Okay.
The rowan, or mountain ash, is a British native and thrives in Welsh woodlands.
Bottom left corner, back left corner, sir. Yeah.
These 3 trees will form a little patch of Morgan's homeland at the bottom of the garden.
Lovely. Right, I'm going to actually have to dig a hole anyway.
And I'm going to have to hold them.
No way, I don't.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, oh God, you know, it's so important to water these in.
Yep. Especially on a day like this, and especially the time of year.
Yeah, and not just today,
Every day.
for a week.
Now, with most of the infrastructure in place, the focus can shift to the plants.
Like a little woodland now. So we're placing quite a lot of the shrubs at the back. So obviously we've got the Saurus there, the mountain ash, 3 of them together in the corner. It really helps to hold that corner together, give it a bit of height. And also it's something really lovely to look at as soon as Morgan's looking out of his kitchen doors there, down the avenue onto the greenery. We've got some small little roses there, some wild roses, and then a lovely hawthorn as well. So really lovely native mix that's going to give a gorgeous, bushy, natural boundary at the back.
At the other end of the garden, Charlie's doing some planting too.
Chezza, how are you getting on?
I'm all right, how are you?
Too?
There's a few herbs to go with the cooking area. We got all sorts here. We got thyme and rosemary and mint. And I thought it'd be quite nice to have it on the shelves near the table area.
Lovely.
How
And in the
you
shade
going?
as well?
Yeah, in the shade.
Yeah,
One extreme to the other today.
It is, isn't it?
What are you up to?
I'm going to find a home for this by Burnham.
Wonderful. You would love that. And I'm also going to put this lemon verbena in. So you sniff that, mate. Go on now, you've got to squish it, haven't you? Squish and sniff.
So stunning, isn't it?
What does it remind you of?
Lemon curd.
Sherbets.
Lemon sherbet. That's the
Lemon
one.
sherbets. Those ones you used to have as a kid and they were just a bit
Yeah,
too big for
really
your mouth.
bitter.
And
They
then
go
they
in.
go really rub the roof of your mouth.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then you'd hit the sherbet.
Have a little freak out.
Yeah.
Having a few sherbets with mates is one of Morgan's favourite pastimes. So the brothers wanted to provide a relaxing spot to sit. Joe's been working on a built-in wooden bench where Morgan and friends can gather in the chill-out zone at the back of the garden.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Meanwhile, Kyle spotted a problem with one of the steel troughs.
Is this one that's getting filled up with water?
This is the one getting filled up with. Can you see the slight problem in the plan?
Oh, it's got a great load of holes in it.
Yeah.
So Charlie patches the holes to make it watertight.
Just a piece of thick polythene, so you basically want to seal the holes at the bottom.
You can start to see really clearly what we were talking about when we mentioned that the light would come through the slatted fencing onto the plants and onto the garden. This Distancia cespitosa has a gorgeous vertical structure, but you can see with the light shooting across it, it creates a lovely contrast and quite a vibrant character. And then having little details like this Verbena bonariensis just poking through, really delicate little flower head amongst these really soft grasses, you start to put together a nice, quite complex, but very simple planting scheme.
Well, the bench is coming along really nicely in the back, so it's good to see. And I'm just laying out this yew hedging. And as you can see, it's already started to define the edges and perimeter of the design. And yew is evergreen, and it's got a lovely dark tone to it. It really allows plants that have that lighter tone to really stand out when it's in front of it. So all I'm doing is I'm outlining them. I've already dug a trench, and you can see, even kind of surrounding this Amelanchier, it just kind of shows things off. And I think one of the best things that it's evergreen. So on those darker months in the winter, you're still going to have a lovely bit of greenery, and your garden's still going to have a lovely bit of character.
As the day draws to a close, the garden is nearing completion. A few finishing touches and the job is done. Well, nearly.
Could not really have a vegetable bed in a Welsh garden without some leeks.
Having put time and effort into his house, Morgan was ready to tackle the garden, but he didn't know where to start. So he called on Garden Rescue for help, and the Rich brothers rose to the challenge. Gone is the dreary blank space, and in its place a stunning plant-filled party zone full of cool character and beautiful natural materials. Echoes of his homeland in the chic slate patio, costing £500, will make Welshman Morgan feel right at home. And Charlie's clever entertainment space should make his friends feel at home too. The hardwood decking, costing £1,100, leads into a lush woodland full of beautiful specimens. Over £1,000 worth of plants offer year-round interest and provides a haven for birds and insects. New slatted fence panels, costing £375, provide much-needed privacy, and a bespoke bench seat offers a place for Morgan and his mates to sit and enjoy the surroundings.
Right, we
How will he react to the changes?
3, 2, 1, open your eyes.
Wow. It looks amazing. It really does. Wow, I'm speechless. It's beautiful. It's better than I was expecting. Yeah, it's really, really good, boys. Thanks.
Loves it. It's a really beautiful garden.
It's a big social space now, isn't it?
It is a big social space.
And have a little look behind you as well.
Oh, wow.
So Charlie's been hard at work. This is like the cocktail station, but then you have the drinks. It's got a nice little close connection to the kitchen as well, so prepping food, herbs, things like that.
I love it. I love it. I couldn't have asked for anything better.
What do you think about the decking coming into the slate?
I really like the detailing. It just finishes it all off.
I did that today, and I tell you what, I've never been so nervous.
When Harry was doing it, he was definitely sweating.
I can see the boys round for a beer. I can see a barbecue in the corner. Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Right, I feel like this is this party space, but we should go and have a look at the more intimate private space at the back.
Okay.
Right, go on through. So we've got hazel shrub there, which will grow up and arch over, and an amelanchier tree here as well. So it's almost that idea that you walk past these into the more natural area. And we've got the other planter here. So this was the idea of having some veg. So Charlie's been planting leeks.
Yeah.
Nothing more Welsh than a leek, isn't
They'll
it?
be coming out for Sunday lunch at some stage.
Good leek soup as well. Lovely.
I wish they'd stop talking about food. They're making me hungry.
So what are you thinking right now?
I think it actually feels much bigger now that I can use this end of the garden as well, because before this end of the garden didn't get used at all.
Yeah.
The new fence looks great. It means I can do stuff without being overlooked all the time.
Because it's a lovely brick wall, but it was quite low, wasn't it?
It was.
So having that extra bit of height.
And then we've got you a lovely bench, so it means you can go and enjoy a nice little seat.
Brilliant. I was on a campsite in Wales 2 weeks ago, and there was a little woodland walk, and this is quite like it, actually.
Nice. Wonderful. Well, it's a retreat almost now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, the ultimate question, the one we have to ask, was it worth the money?
Absolutely worth every penny.
So you're glad
It really
you
was.
spent your bonus on the garden?
I'm glad I spent the bonus on the garden.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what a fantastic way to spend a bonus. A garden that will just keep on giving.
Now that the team has packed up and left, Morgan's had a chance for a proper look around.
Everything's just amazing. It's better than I could have imagined. The colour, all the wraps all the way round, the fact that it's got so many uses. Got 2 different spaces. That end of the garden I couldn't even use before. And everywhere you look, there's something new that jumps out at you.